right, everyone. Welcome to World's Finest, the podcast for the Comic Collectors Guild. I am Lee, and with me, as always, I have my main man, LT. LT, how are you, sir?
Hey, buddy, how are you? Doing good, man. How was your Easter?
It was good, man. I had a great one. Thank you for asking. I hope you did
Good.
as well.
Oh yeah, it was just nice to chill. No work, no nothing. Just watch TV, play some video games.
There you go, dude. Yeah, that makes for a great holiday, actually, a fantastic holiday. Yeah, mine was also nice and relaxing and stuff. So
Good,
now I'm
good.
ready to talk some good stuff, man. Guys, our episode tonight is all about the first three episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We
Yes.
are at the midway mark. We're halfway through, so we figured that would be a good point for us to kind of go back and talk about where we are thus far in the show.
Right.
No, we had to wait a week in between WandaVision and this. And man, I'm telling you, I'm really enjoying it so far. LT, what are your thoughts on it?
No, man, it's a lot of action. There's a lot of, you know, personal drama, as far between the characters and within themselves. A lot we
Mhm.
really didn't see until the end of WandaVision, when she was, you know, kind of mixed up and didn't know what was going on. But here right off the bat, we're seeing conflict, inner conflict, outer conflict between the two within themselves, without with other characters that we will talk about. That it's the dynamics for like an awesome written story. Was just laid out. Boom, and we got it. And the first three episodes so far have been really good.
Yeah, I agree. They have been. Well, what I like about it, before I get into the plot, what I've liked about this and WandaVision so far is the fact that we're focusing on these characters that maybe got, let's use a movie like Endgame or Infinity War or even Civil War. These characters maybe get like 5, 10 minutes of development, screen
Right.
time, you know what I mean, and of dialogue even. That's about it within this 2 hour and 20-minute film. And so now I love that we're getting this full-fledged focus on these characters. Only get 10 minutes or so in the movie, and that's it. And we're doing the deep dive into the WandaVision and Vision. We got that. Now we're into this. I love the way. I mean, of course they were right. These were Captain America's two
Besties.
main dudes, his besties, right? So I love the fact that Captain America is still a huge part of this show. You know what I mean? Steve is mentioned almost every 5 minutes or so. It seems like, you know what I mean? There's been so many great callbacks and references to him and their relationship that he has with both of them, and now how these guys are trying to carry on and carry on his legacy the best way they know how. You
Right.
know, but I'm really digging it. I'm liking these characters that have been introduced. You probably remember this. I do. In the '80s, U.S. Agent.
Oh yeah.
John
US Agent.
Walker, that run that he had in the Avengers. I think specifically West Coast Avengers.
Right.
I mean, the Avengers started off there, but he actually became a mainstay in the West Coast Avengers, if I'm not mistaken.
He had the black suit, or the black Captain America suit, almost just a
Yeah,
variation of it, but it was black.
yeah, and then I think this is when Steve had gone on. He wasn't dead in this, or not old even. He had
Right.
gone on to become like the captain. I think he was just called the captain at that point in time. And
Yeah.
yeah. So no, so the fact they've introduced him and Battlestar, which was like his version of
His,
Bucky.
his sidekick.
I like that we're getting these characters. Yeah, his sidekick. But I think this guy's getting pretty warped pretty fast, just based on what I've seen so
A
far.
lot of people hate him. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot of hate for the character because they're like, "Oh, you're no Steve Rogers." Well, that's the point. He's not Steve Rogers.
yeah,
People forget that. They're like,
yeah.
"Oh, you're pissing on Steve Rogers' grave." No, no, he's carrying on a legacy. That's it's he's not trying to be Steve Rogers. He's not trying to be Steve Rogers, Captain America. And as you can see, he's already, you know, kind of a dick
Yeah.
sometimes, and it just that's the persona that we should get off that, because no one Steve was the all-American Boy Scout, the everything, God bless America
Yeah.
type. This guy's just wants to get things done, as far as uh, uh, uh get the mission done.
Yeah, which is, I think he's already starting. I mean, I'll be honest, when they first introduced him in episode one, or I'm sorry, at the end of episode one, but we really dived into him in episode
Yeah,
two.
too.
Um, is he came off as very humble during that TV interview. He really did, But now I think, like I said, 2 episodes later, we're really kind of seeing a darker side, or maybe and maybe it's because he's trying to live up to this legacy of Cap. He's been rejected by Cap's buddies. He thought he was
Right.
going to be able to kind of reach out to old Sam and the Winter Soldier there, and be able to start a relationship with those guys. They've been rejected. They've totally rejected him. But I think a lot of that goes to the fact that you know as we left Steve bestowed his shield to Falcon,
The
Sam.
Falcon. Yeah.
Sam Wilson gave it to him, and I thought it was really interesting how in the first episode, he's struggling with it, and he just doesn't feel like he deserves or has the right to carry on his shield, or is not good enough to do so. So I think it was kind of shady. I like how he thought he was just giving it to the Smithsonian, but then all of a sudden he realized he's been hoodwinked.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And not just, it wasn't just to give it over to not only that, he's not only been hoodwinked and given the shield off, but now there's another guy running out there who Steve had nothing to do with. You know what I mean? Actually carrying the name Captain America, carrying his shield and everything. And Sam was just feeling like probably a bit of an ass. You know what I
Yeah, like
mean?
what did I do? What did I do?
Yeah, what did I do? And so that, but also, I think this has been really interesting because they're going deeper into the Marvel mythology. They're introducing us to, was it Isaiah Bradley? I hope I got that right. I think that's Black Captain America, played by
You're cutting off a little bit right there, but I can't hear you.
oh uh, Car- Isaiah Bradley. If I'm not mistaken, that's the Black Captain America that was
Yes.
introduced, right? So I like how they're diving into the more of the Marvel mythology, and giving us, like, while Steve was gone during those years between the very first Captain America and the end of Captain America, I guess, when he came back, or the first Avengers, is that there was a Black Captain America who had been out there, carrying on the mantle of Captain America,
Right.
and the fact that he was done so dirty by his own government, and then I think the big reveal of that is pretty huge for, I think a lot is said, goes to be said, because if Sam had been aware of this guy, I think Sam probably would have felt more, just maybe even if he knew that he was taking not just Steve's legacy, but another Black Captain America's legacy, you know what I
Yes.
mean, and give the ability
More.
to
Yeah.
shine. I think he would have been more apt to run with it, you know. I think they're going deep with this. It was just really interesting that they're introducing all these different aspects. And like I said, Captain America lives strong in this. They talk about Steve all the time. We've got super soldier serums or super soldiers running around out there. They've got the serum, and then Isaiah Bradley. We talked about him. It's just there's just so many great things happening within this show. We're like 3 episodes in.
Right. And then between all that, you've got the inner turmoil that, like, you see Falcon in a human way. He and his sister are trying to salvage their father or their parents' fishing boat, and they're being denied a loan. I mean, he's an Avenger. Hello.
I
You'd think
know.
he'd have money, but no. They're touching on the human aspects of that, and then you get Bucky's therapy, his PTSD, if that's what it's. Wait. PTSD, and how he's dealing with it. He's got a lot of what do you call it, emotional baggage from all the killings he's done over the years as Winter Soldier. He's trying to reform himself, but you have that
Yeah.
inner turmoil, and then you have right before they meet Isaiah, or no, right after, in fact, you go into a little racial stance with the cops, and it's just, that's another
It's going
aspect
deep.
of, yeah, that Falcon, Sam was, you get the feeling that he was thinking America wasn't ready for a a black Captain America, African American. And then he meets Isaiah and he's like, what the hell? You know,
Mm-hmm.
that was just, I mean, you felt for him there. You felt for him, at the him getting denied. He's just getting, crapped on, and yet he just keeps on. He hasn't,
Yeah, a couple things you mentioned that I want to comment on. First, we'll take Bucky, the Winter Soldier. He does have the PTSD. He's got all the classic signs. He's sleeping on the floor,
Yeah.
and all of this stuff and the nightmares that he's got and the flashbacks. And he's keeping in the book. I don't know if you noticed this, but the book that he's writing his stuff down in is the same book that Steve Rogers at Captain America had. That specifically it was actually a nice callback to the episode 3 when they're talking about Marvin Gaye and all of that
Right.
stuff. That's a straight callback to Civil War. I'm sorry, Winter Soldier, when him and Sam are talking, and he's writing down those little things in this book.
Right on the list, yeah.
Songs, writing down the list. Same book. Bucky has that same book. Now he's got Steve's book, but instead he's keeping, people that he's trying to go back and right the wrongs for, like the flashback that we spoke about in the first episode. The young kid who was an innocent bystander. Who just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and he killed him. And now he's gone and he's befriended his father, and going out and taking him out to dinners and just kind of being a good friend for him while he's there, trying to make up for the fact that he killed his son.
Right.
Right. The Sam thing, I think, is classic also because, it like you said, it just shows that everything that he's been doing, they do put him. Marvel's always been known for having more down to earth heroes and things like that, and having, Spider-Man's a good example. You know what I mean? He was always broke, you know what I mean, and just always had these problems and just always down on his luck. But Marvel's always been known for that, and I like that the fact that they're showing the real world problems from this. The blip. I like the fact that the blip. Both of these episodes. I'm sorry, both of these shows, WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, have given us more insight into, WandaVision specifically, when it showed everybody appearing back
all of
for
a
the
sudden,
first time. You know what I mean? Kind of, they gave us a real world, quote unquote, real Marvel world look at that. We hadn't really seen that before. You know what I mean? We'd only seen the portals coming back when in Endgame, when everybody was coming back to fight Thanos.
right?
We didn't see everybody just kind of come back and do the back. So that I think is, I like that they're showing us that. But for Falcon and Winter Soldier specifically, they talk about, like, in the first episode, we've got a random person who comes up to Sam and was like, "Thank you very much for returning my wife to me." You know what I mean? After all these years. So, they've been missing for 5 years. And then what we come to find out is that there is a faction of the world who actually liked the world better. You know what I mean? There's a throwaway reference, not a throwaway reference, but they mentioned it in episode 1, how the coral reef is growing back and the environment's gotten better. You know what I mean? Because of half the population. So it goes to show that Thanos' plan, as crazy as it was the end game, so to speak, was the fact that he was trying to make the universe and the world a better place. You know what I mean? And guess what? It's actually working. His plan was working.
They touched that on about that on Endgame. When Steve was talking with Natasha and said, "Hey, we saw there was whales in the bay for the first time." Slowly everything was kind of working.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, you're right. They talked about that in there. And the fact that, like you said, the real world problems. Sam's been gone. The sister was trying to hold it all together while he was gone for those 5 years.
Yep.
And he goes to get the loan, and he just can't. But it was also showing just more than just that. Again, going to those real world problems. And Sam even says it in the show. Or he says it in the show. He's like, things always seem to be tightening when people like us try to get a loan. You know what I mean? Because, again, it's always been like, African Americans have a tougher time to get loans than, so it was just all these, like I said, these real world things that they're trying to bring in and to play, like your reference when he got stopped by the police because he was having a conversation. They didn't say anything to the white guy. You know what I mean? But they came directly to him.
It turns out they cuffed Bucky because he missed the his
Yeah,
meeting
the court appointed therapy. Speaking of that, man, what a classic scene. I thought that was so awesome in episode 2 when she made them do knee to knee
face to
and the
face.
eye to eye cut. Yes.
See, now
Yes. That was
that's
so
another interesting development. Not only are they have their own problems, they've got their own problems against each other. You know,
yeah.
he's Sam's. Bucky's still trying to find out why he gave up the shield, and Bucky just has not. And Bucky, I'm sorry, Sam has just not come out and really said it. But they're fighting about it, and I'm sure it'll be resolved within the next couple episodes. But
Yeah.
you have that inner conflict. They're the class in this past episode when throwback to Civil War when when Sam gets in the back seat and says, "You're not gonna move the seat up, are you?" And he's like,
Yep.
"No."
That was so classic. And speaking of Civil War, I mean that we can't not talk about two major returns. Who people two major characters who we haven't seen since Civil War.
Still Civil War, yeah.
One, Baron Zemo. He's back. And he was the whole mastermind behind what happened in Civil War to kind of tore the Avengers apart. You know, so he's back, and then we also get Sharon Carter.
Sharon Carter,
We
Agent
have not seen.
13. Yeah.
Yep, Agent 13, and she's not so happy to see those guys. I mean, she's like, kind of y'all left me in the dust. I robbed or I stole the shield and the wings for you guys, and then everybody balled out and left me.
Let them go. Yeah. And we hadn't seen her in what 5 years, I think, what they said.
Yeah, and it sounds like she didn't disappear. I'm guessing she's not.
No. She's
she's been building her little underworld there. And
yeah. I mean, a lot of people are already, Marvel fanatics coming up with their own theories and stuff, and they're already thinking that she might have switched sides, that she's the power broker. She's the bad guy, but I don't think so. I think I more likely she went deep undercover.
Yeah. Or she's just trying to make her living right now, Megan. She couldn't talk to her family. She's been cut off. And I think it's really cool that she's actually, we need to say that, if this movie had been made if this show had been made a few years ago, that there's one major city that probably they wouldn't have been able to use. Yes, exactly. This city was under the X-Men license.
Famous X-Men city. I mean, yeah, Wolverine had many battles there and was part of a secret society in one of the bars that they show. I don't recall which one, but yeah,
he owns that bar under his guise as Patch.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
It just had it written everywhere. X-Men. Yeah. I mean, if you recall, there was a gate in the background when the Flag Smashers were waiting for some people to come out. There was a big old X on the door. It is nothing. It looked like X-Men to me, but it was just it might have been a friendly throw, a name shout out, but the Baron von Zemo, though, the whole breaking him out of prison, needing their help. He actually looked like he was a good guy for a little while there. I mean, like he was helping. We know him, the character in the comics, to be undermining. He's out for something. He's doing 100%. It for himself. Now, what 100%. It is, we haven't seen yet, but as it is right now, he's been helping him, and I'm tickled to death that he's got his costume from the comics. That's cool. That little purple hoodie and little and his overcoat, his jacket.
Yep. Yeah, he threw that on when he went into action on episode 3. No, it is great that he's got all of that. I like the fact that that Marvel, for the most part, they're always been very costume accurate, but then when they always don't introduce them in maybe that first episode or first time you see a character. By the time you'll see that character in the second time you see him, he'll be in his proper.
Yeah, because on Civil War, we just knew him as Zemo. We didn't know until this episode that he was a Baron. I mean,
yeah,
people who didn't know.
Yeah, and then he was rich. Exactly.
Yeah, he was rich. Yeah, for people who was
he's totally rich.
He was I was a royalty until y'all destroyed my country or something.
Your country, yeah. And we can't talk about this without giving. We can't talk about Zemo without giving a shout out to his classic dance moves that he had while he was in the German club. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, look at old Zemo get down. No, dude,
It was funny.
it was funny. No, but I've really enjoyed this so far. Like I said, it's been great. Right off the bat, in the very first episode, they let you know that this is for real, for real. They got some money behind this. Because keep in mind, guys, this was supposed to be the first series for Marvel. And then that was supposed to be followed by WandaVision. So this was supposed to have come out in August of last year, actually. The pandemic kind of threw everything askew. So reason I bring that up is because in the very first 5 minutes of Falcon and Winter Soldier, we've got that awesome aerial battle. You know what I mean? Between Sam and the helicopters and all of
Right.
stuff. So and it was no expense was spared. They were letting you know that this is, just like being
Yeah.
at the
Well, I
movies.
mean, this is basically a 5 hour movie, cut into 6 parts. Sorry,
Six 6 hour.
6 hour
Yeah.
movie. Yeah, cut into 6 parts, which,
Mm-hmm.
it shows they threw a lot of money at everything. We still have, and we're, like I said, we're only halfway done. We still need 3 more.
Yeah.
We've got, I'm sure there's going to be some kind of cliffhanger, some introduction to the next Marvel show, somehow tied
Mm-hmm.
into maybe Loki, or what's the other one? Crap.
Oh, after Loki, we got a rack of shows coming out. I know Loki is the next one though. After that, I don't know if they've actually announced the next one after that, but we've got She-Hulk lined up, we've got Moon Knight lined up,
Yeah, Hawkeye,
and then
Hawkeye
Hawkeye. Oh, that's probably gonna be the next one actually.
after those.
Hawkeye will probably be
Yeah.
the next one. Yeah, that.
So yeah, no,
After
I'm just
that.
excited how it's going to keep on going. Just expanding the universe.
Yep. Well, because something else I got to mention before we move on from this is that we also are introduced to a plethora of young Avengers so far
Oh yeah,
in these
we
first
got to
two
see
shows. We
Patriot,
had Wiccan. Well,
Wiccan.
yeah, but we had Wiccan and the other guy. I can't remember his brother's name. The two twins from
Crap,
WandaVision, of
I
course.
forgot.
They become young Avengers.
Yeah,
And then we've got Patriot, Isaiah Bradley's grandson,
grandson. Yeah,
who was the boy who answered the door there.
yeah.
He's a young Avenger. You mentioned Hawkeye, which made me think of this. We've
We're
got
gonna have
Kate Bishop
Kate
is
Bishop.
her
Yeah,
name.
Kate
Yeah,
Bishop.
Kate Bishop. She's a young Avenger. So they're already planting the seeds. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
They're introducing some characters that could go on and carry, have a Young Avengers television show in the next 2 years or
Oh
so.
yeah, easily.
You never know. But no, I love the seeds they're planting, and this episode at the end of season three, end of episode 3 left us with a major cliffhanger, bringing in yet another character from the movies, another character from who we were introduced to in Civil War.
The
The Wakandan soldier was a
Ayo. I
yeah,
can never.
Ayo.
Yeah, Ayo.
Yeah. So that
Yeah,
was
and
really cool. They brought her in.
in all honesty, I totally forgot. Even though they had mentioned Wakanda, and he said, "Oh, I'm the White Wolf now," this and that, because he had made a joke. Oh, you're the White Panther, and he's like, "No, no,
Yeah.
I totally. It just, I know, I totally forgot that Wakanda has a grudge against Zemo for them killing T'Chaka in
Oh
Civil
yeah.
War. And when she
Yep.
came out, I was like, "Oh, it makes sense." they
Totally does.
it could, for all we know, Bucky was working with the Wakandan government.
Yep.
That remains to be seen, but I'm sure they made some kind of deal just so he can
Right.
get information. But I hope they touch up on that a little bit next episode.
Yeah. No, man, it's been great. Like I said, I can't believe we're halfway through it. So I can imagine that the next 3 episodes are really gonna have to be like, now the story's gonna have to start winding down now. So we're gonna get a lot of answers, probably get more questions, and the action will ramp up because
Yeah,
it's coming down to the
I
wire
don't know
now.
if I want to bring this up, but someone revealed the upcoming Marvel Legends figures for Winter Soldier and Falcon, and they are very spoilerish. So I don't know if I should say anything or just wait till we finish, because they're
Go ahead,
spoilers.
throw it out there.
All right, spoilers, everyone. The sneak peek figures are, of course, one of Baron von Zemo. We get John Walker as U.S. agent,
Oh, okay.
and we get Bucky. And not only do we get Sam, but we get Sam as Captain America, Falcon Captain
Oh,
America, full suit from the movie.
that's
And I'm like,
awesome. I think we all knew by the time this show was going to be over that he was
so
going to
maybe
show.
we'll see that. Maybe it's just one of those figures that what if type figures, whatever. But yeah, I was like, whoa, this the costume is full Captain America, but all falconized with the shield and everything. It's really
Well,
cool.
that's awesome. Well, that's awesome. Like I said, I mean, it's kind of a spoiler, but I mean, at least I was pretty confident that we're going to walk away with Sam being
Right.
America at the end of all this. You know what I mean? So no, but no, so far so good. I can't wait till the end. Guys, what we'll probably do is wait till the end and we'll kind of give a little recap of the final 3 episodes. But man, I'm enjoying every minute of it and don't want to see it end. And like
Right.
I said,
Right.
then we've got Loki coming up a couple weeks after that. They just released a trailer, which looks incredible. Can't
That's
wait to check
awesome.
that out. We also just had the Black Widow trailer, a new one drop, which we got new footage because we've had like 4 different trailers so
At least.
far promoting
Yeah.
it for the 4 different times. And I guess they finally had to start showing us some new footage. You know what I mean? Because if not, it was like we're just going to see the same footage over and over from 3 different marketing blitzes.
Yeah. They
So,
finally
so I'm
decided
glad we're
to
going to get that.
release it on the Disney Plus service as well
Yep.
as the theaters. But of course, you're going to have to pay for it on top of your regular service rate, just like they did Mulan several months ago. Again, because of the
Yep.
with the ongoing pandemic. But
Yeah. But at least it has a
I
release
don't.
date now where I think it'll stay.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that movie's
Yeah.
long overdue. I mean, poor girl.
I know, right? It's supposed to have been out over a year. Yeah, a little over
Over
a
a
year
year.
ago.
Yeah.
So, or right at a year. So, guys, we can't wait for that. Lots of good things happening. Lots of good things happening. Box office is opening back up. Hopefully, we'll be back in the theaters sooner rather than later. But until then, we've got Disney Plus rocking and rolling with some fantastic shows to keep us entertained.
Right.
Awesome. Yeah, man. Well, good. Listen, LT, my friend, I think we've said it all. Is there
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
we're missing? Anything we left out?
First 3 episodes, man, jam packed. I can't wait for the last three. So we'll be here again in 3 weeks at least for a recap.
Yep. Yep. We definitely will be. So tune in then. But until then, keep hit us the subscribe button, comment, let us know what you'd like to see, some other topics you want us to cover on the show. We'd be more than happy to do so.
Exactly. Follow us on
But LT,
Instagram,
man,
on Facebook, on YouTube as well too.
yeah, follow us, man. Follow us. Let us know what you think again. Hit the like button. All right, guys. All
Cool.
right. LT, it's been a pleasure, my friend.
All right, brother.
Until next time, guys.
Laters.
Later.
Bye.